What if you never had to wait on hold again? Today we're going to be building a real-time voice assistant that's going to leverage our OpenAI real-time API that's going to be able to seamlessly work with customers, resolve their queries, and is going to completely change the game of customer support forever. This AI doesn't just listen, it also understands the context, provides a really great response to that person like a human would, and is able to respond almost instantly. We're going to be running through exactly how it works. We're going to be providing a demo so you can see it in real time. We're also going to talk about some of the pros and cons of this API being used versus some of the other ones available in platforms like Retell AI. So stick around if you want to find out. Let's jump straight into how it works. So how does it differ? Well, on the left-hand side here, we've got the traditional method, how we engage with these platforms like Retell AI. We have the caller coming in. They're going to then use the voice AI platform. Again, that's going to be Retell AI in this case. We then need to go through a couple of steps for that response process. So we're going to have the user input. So that's going to be the response from the customer. We need to convert that from speech into text. So we can use Gladia, Dgram, TalkScriber to be able to do that. We're then going to need our AI brain, our LLM layer, which can be Claude, OpenAI, DeepSeek, whatever you need it to be. We can also do some automation off the back of that if you want. But then what the critical part is we're going to take the output from our LLM, our AI brain. We need to convert it back into speech. So we're going to use our 11 Labs, OpenAI. We can then provide that response back to the customer using our Retell AI platform. So that can then go around in circles until the customer's query is resolved. And today we're going to be using an insurance use case, and we'll demo that in a second. However, before we jump in, we can also see how the real-time API method works. And again, as you can see here, this is different to the way that the traditional method works because we've got less steps in the process because we're using the contained environment within OpenAI. So how does it work? Well, exactly the same at the start. We're going to have the caller come into our voice AI platform. In this case, we're going to be using Retell AI. We then need to take that user input. So again, that speech, convert it into text. We're going to use OpenAI's Whisper module to be able to do this. We can then use our LLM layer to really analyze and understand the context and the best response. Again, we're going to be using OpenAI's ChatGPT-4 to be able to do this. And then all we're doing is using OpenAI's voice to provide that response back to the customer through our voice AI platform. Again, a circular motion until that issue is resolved and the customer is happy to progress to the next stage. So today we're going to be using Retell AI as mentioned. This is a great platform to build your own voice AI agents. As you can see here, you can try it in real time. You can test and deploy it in many different ways. We've done another video around how to book appointments, which is so easy using Retell AI. Again, lots of different information here, but let's jump straight into how we can actually use it. Now, if you log into your Retell AI dashboard, you'll see a screen like this. What we're going to do is create an agent, and today's video, we're going to do a single prompt agent. So if we open this, we'll do blank. And then what will happen is it will load up our environment, as we can see here. Now, as mentioned, we're going to do an insurance customer support use case. To get access to the resources we're going to be using today, you just need to click on the link below. It will let you join our school community. You come into Classroom, we'll do YouTube resources. As you can see here, we've got one around OpenAI's real-time model. We'll come down to the bottom and you'll see this prompt here. All you want to do is copy what we've got in here, and then you'll be able to paste it into this area here. So if I do V, what we can see here is that prompt pasted straight across. Now this is done again for our insurance use case, but the structure that we've got is fundamentally key if you're using any of the other voice AI agents. So we want a really clear goal. We want the role that it's going to be taking on, the tone. We want some really clear instructions around what it's going to do, how it's going to do it. We want a knowledge base. So again, this is some really critical information for how the AI needs to respond, the context. You can include it in the knowledge base, but we find really critical information. It's better to include it in our prompt here. So we've got some examples, we've got some pricing in there. If we come a bit further down, we've got some other information here around some examples. Again, it's really great to have at least 5 examples of some conversation threads. This gives some real insight into the AI around how it's going to respond, what it needs to say, how it needs to respond. Again, you can fully customize this to your use case. Now you've got access to the resources. At the bottom here, what we also need to change is that we're going to initiate with a dynamic message. So what we have is this AI is going to respond first. Our customer AI is going to respond. This other one here, the user initiate, basically means it's going to wait for that customer to respond. And the one at the bottom here means it will always say the same thing every time someone reaches out. I'm just going to use the dynamic one for today. If we come back up to the top, we're just going to rename this to Guardian Insurance Co, because that's going to be our use case. And then what we'll be able to do is go through and change some of the features. So as you can see here, we've got GPT-4o. Now what we've got here are the different models that you're able to use natively within Retell AI. So we've got the real time, we've got mini real time, we've got 4o, 4o mini, and then Claude. What we can see here is that it's going to cost around 50 cents per minute for the real time. It's going to cost around 5 cents a minute for normal. So again, big difference there. So that's what we're going to touch on a bit later around some of the pros and cons. We'll give this a test first of all around the 4o. We'll come through, we'll change the voices. So to make sure it's the same, we're going to come through and we'll use echo in this case. So we can do use voice. And then what we'll be able to do is change some of the features in here as well around the voice speech, how quick, how slow, how it's able to be more emotional, more calm, whether it's low or high for the volume. But we can do save for now. I'll change this to English. So again, what we've got is some other key information around the agent ID, the Retell LLM ID. We're saying it's around 13 cents a minute at the moment. And we're saying it's around 1.3 seconds to 1.4 seconds to provide a response in this use case. What we tend to see is for humans, around 600 milliseconds to 1 second is how long it normally takes for you to register what I've said and then provide a response. So we want to be as close to that. What we can also do is give this a quick test.
Hello. Thank you for calling Guardian Insurance Co. This is Jamie, your virtual assistant. How can I assist you today?
Hi, Jamie. What do you offer?
Hi there. I'm happy to help. Guardian Insurance Co. offers a range of insurance products to protect you, your loved ones, and your belongings. Here's a quick overview of what we provide.
So there we go. As you can see, it's starting to go through and provide a response. What we'll do now, though, is we're going to go through and change it to be our OpenAI real time. Again, note that we're going to jump from 5p a minute as a base fee up to 50 cents a minute to be able to do this. So again, a lot more expensive. If we go through and give it another test, we'll see how it responds. Again, we've now got a limited 3 voices that we can natively use within Retell AI. We can't use any of the others from 11 Labs, which you can do with some of the lower models. Again, that's one of the things to note, and we're going to touch on that a bit later for the pros and cons. So we use exactly the same voice with Echo, and we'll give it another quick test. So,
hello. Thank you for calling Guardian Insurance Co. This is Jamie, your virtual assistant. How can I assist you?
Hi, Jamie. What do you offer?
Hello. Guardian Insurance Co. offers a range of insurance services, including auto, home, health, life, travel, and pet insurance. Each type of insurance comes with various coverage options to fit your needs. How can I help you with your insurance needs today?
So how much does the auto insurance cost?
Our auto insurance product, Guardian Auto Protect, starts at $50 per month. This includes coverage for accidents, theft, liability, and comprehensive damage, plus added benefits like roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement. Would you like more details on specific coverage or a quote?
Do I get emergency assistance with this?
Yes, with Guardian Auto Protect, you receive 24/7 emergency roadside assistance. This includes services.
Brilliant. So we're just going to end the test there, but as you can see, we were previously at around 1.3, 1.4 seconds for a response. We're now back down 600 milliseconds to 1 second response time. So as you could see there, it felt a lot more natural in the conversation flow. But again, this is a lot more expensive compared to your base model that we were using. So keep that in mind when you're running through. You also don't have the ability to change the voice that you're actually using to the same degree. For example, you can't use your own voice from 11 Labs that you'd be able to do in the other ones. So now that we've done a really quick demo, I hope it brings it to life. Let's go through and talk around some of the pros and cons. So as we can see here, we've got some really great pros where we've got some ultra low latency. We're providing almost a human response time, which is great for that customer support, providing a really great experience. We're able to stream some responses. So how it's working in the background is instead of it uploading all of the transcript in one go to OpenAI, it's doing it constantly in the background to try and bring that latency down. and make it sound a lot more natural. As you can see there, the next one that's a great benefit is around better turn taking. So it sounds a lot more natural. It's really understanding everything that that person says, understands where it needs to add value, where it needs to change what it's saying to provide that best experience. What we can also see, again, this is applicable for lots of the different AI voices that we're using, but it's really scalable for high volume phone AI agents versus having to do this manually. What you can then do is focus your humans on more complex tasks, and you can focus the AI on the majority of the low complexity calls that come into your business. The next one there, as we can see, is really ideal for the voice AI applications, and it's not optimized for the tech side, which again, this can be a limitation for some of the more advanced applications that maybe you're using it for, but it's really great to provide that real-time experience for that customer. But as we noted, there are some cons to do with this. So it's a lot higher cost. Again, remember, we were around 5 cents a minute for GPT-4o, the natural one, the normal one. We go up to 50 cents a minute for the real time. So again, that's something to consider. What we can also see is that it's less stable around some of the formatting for the output that you're going to get. Again, that's not as applicable if we're going to use in platforms like Retell AI, but it's really key to note. And again, mention there, if we're using it for the voice AI side, it's great. But if you're trying to using it outside of that voice AI, it can get a bit more complex and it's not as great to do. And the other one that you've got to include in there as well is around the voices as well. So again, if you're using platforms like GPT-4o, the normal version, you can use 11 labs, you can bring your own voice in, which is absolutely great. You're not going to be able to do that with the real time, but it is going to provide you a lot faster response. I think this is going to be really interesting to see how it progresses to get GPT-4o normal as close to 600 milliseconds to 1 second response time as possible. Again, think about the use case that you're using it for. I think for a lot of you out there, using the normal GPT-4o with an optimized prompt, trying to bring this latency down, that's going to provide you 80% of the same experience versus trying to use GPT-4o real time, which is again almost 10 times as expensive as using GPT-4o. So just think about how much it's going to cost, especially if your cost to serve that customer. That's something really key to take into consideration. That's been a really quick video. I hope it's been useful. Stay tuned for more around AI agents.